Hi everyone, welcome back to the On the Couch series where I am interviewing entrepreneurs about everything that makes them tick, everything that they struggle with, what they've went through and a little bit about them so we can hopefully learn from them. I know when I started my business, the first thing I did was talk to people who had already done it, who had already made all the mistakes that could be made, and I tried to learn my best from them. So that's hopefully what I'm trying to do with this series as well. So I'm inviting a few people on to talk about their experiences. Hi everyone watching. Um, I'm just waiting today on the lovely Denise Christie is going to come on. I met Denise a long time ago at a networking event, I think. And we did work together and did lots of things since. So I'm super excited to talk to her today. I also have, I think, about four or five others lined up because I had such a backlog of people. I wanted to kind of give everyone the chance to speak. So I think I have four or five now before the end of February. As you know, I do it here live, but also I then share it to my Facebook page, to my, it'll be on my IGTV, on my Instagram, and also it will be on YouTube. So all the previous ones I've done are on YouTube and then also on my social channels as well. But if you want to look at some other ones of other people, and if any of you guys would like to come on live with me and have a little conversation, I promise it's not as scary as you think. Just message me here and I can slot you in. I'm pretty booked up for the next couple of months, but I can slot you in, and sometimes there's cancellations and things like that. So trying to do as many as I can between now and the end of, or now and the summer. I'm not too sure if I'm going to keep it going after that, but I have enough people kind of to keep me going. So we're just waiting on Denise to come on. I'm going to give her a little message here. She shouldn't be too long. Hope you're all doing well in this weather. It's a bit crazy out there, isn't it? I'm going to tag her here, see if I can get her. I'm scared to even move this phone. I recently got a new cover and it is really affecting how my phone works for some reason. I'll not tell you what shop I got it in. Health and Harmony. I can't even type, it's so annoying. Okay, she's here. Okay, I'm gonna let her join now. 1 wee second. Go live. Okay. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay.
I honestly see before I did this live Instagram series, I had never gone live before either. So I was like, how am I even going to get someone on with me? But it's actually pretty simple once you kind of get it, like most things with social.
I'm just going to warn you, I've got two not very well behaved dogs in the room, Emma. If I don't have them in the room with me, they'll go and eat a sofa or something. So
Okay, no problem. That's the joys of working from home, isn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah. No, all good. Don't worry. So I'm going to jump right in. We're going to talk for about 30 minutes, I'd say. So we'll just jump right in. So tell us about the name of your business and what you do in like 60 seconds.
Okay. Okay. Health and Harmony really kind of sums it up. I'm all about health in a harmonious setting. So I've created a little retreat centre it's all about creating a harmonious life and balance, and through that comes health.
Lovely. Um, Outside of that, what would you say you're known for from your family and friends?
Well, my nickname is the Baby Lady, so
Okay.
I'm known for helping couples get pregnant, basically. And I was
Lovely.
given that nickname I was at a conference in London, and it was an all-female conference, and we were invited to come up and do our 60-second pitch. And so I went up and did mine, and there was a guy in the audience. None of us realised that he was judging us, and we won I won a prize. It was I think it's about £2,000 worth of a 2-day event, business event. And he just went up to the top and he said, "Who's the baby lady?"
Very good. Funny how those things stick. But that's a great name. I mean, that's the exact outcome of what you do, literally make babies.
Yeah,
Maybe, help people make babies more so. And I think you said something like, have you had 64 babies?
64
This,
babies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
well, at least you don't have to look after the 64. At least you
Oh my
can.
God, yeah, yeah, because they come and say hello, and then I go, "Thank you, you can take that."
So 64, how long have you been doing this, Denise?
Um, well, I've been kind of a therapist for nearly 20 years now. In fact, this is my 20th year, but I really didn't move into fertility. I went back and did some retraining about 8, 9 years ago. So yeah, about 8 years ago, by the time I'd finished the retraining.
Funny you say 8 years. That's just like synchronicity, isn't it? Because today I am 8 years in business.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you're 8 years doing this, and I'm 8 years in business today.
Yeah,
How random.
yeah.
There's loads of things happening to me today that are like definitely law of attraction or some kind of sync are coming in. So I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to mention those 8 years, but then when you said it, I was like, I'll just say it. I have like an 8 balloon over here. I'm scared to even move the phone at this moment in time because I know if I move it, you'll fall sideways. So I'll not show you. Okay, so after 20 years and then 8 years and, changing and doing different things, what really drives you to keep going?
Uh, well, I suppose the results really, but I mean, in the last year, same as everybody else, there's just been a complete shift in the way that I see my clients or work with my clients, because for a long time, from the first lockdown, we weren't allowed to work together one to one.
Yeah.
And I couldn't work out how to work together. I just didn't think that there would be that connection that I create with my couples, because I work with the guys as well. It's not just the woman.
Uh-huh.
But funnily enough, I finally then got off the courage to, I just thought, no, I'm going to have to do this, kind of online and just work like this, kind of on video calls, coaching rather than them coming to me and doing the coaching and the treatments. And the
Mhm.
first couple that I worked with, I needed to try and work this out in my head afterwards because I couldn't figure out why it worked this way. But I did the call first with the woman. I treat them kind of both separately, like they're separate clients, and then call back later on that afternoon and did the call with the guy. And it was the first time I met him, and he was just so relaxed. He was sitting on the sofa. He had a pair of shorts on and drinking tea. And honestly, he gave me more information in that call than I probably had of the previous 5 guys that I've ever worked with. And I came off the call and I was thinking, God, like there were some gems in there. There's loads that I can work with. There's loads that, that I can see. Usually it would be the 4th or 5th time that I'm meeting them, and then they start to open up, and then, things fall into place, and I can really start to join up the dots. But I came off the call and I thought, now I get it. He's in his comfort zone. I
Yeah.
bring them into my comfort zone, and the women
Yeah.
are much more comfortable in my comfort zone because it's quite a feminine space, but the guys aren't. And isn't it weird how,
Mhm.
even though for all intents and purposes, it's been, a huge shift for me, but it was lovely to see that result. Really lovely to see that result. And I probably got one of the quickest results with a guy in kind of showing him what changes to make than any other couple I've worked with.
Yeah. So like even when things change and when the world changes and you have to adapt, sometimes it's not always for the worst. Sometimes you actually see your business in a completely different way and it actually works much more efficiently and better, maybe.
Yeah, it felt like the worst, obviously, initially.
Yeah.
But then it's like with anything in business, though. I mean, when I first shifted into fertility work, that was because of a crisis, not my crisis, but somebody else's crisis, that actually reminded me of my own crisis, kind of 10 or 15 years previous. So,
Yeah.
it's when it's like you were saying earlier, it's synchronicity. When things come into your life, they come in for a reason. I shifted into fertility and almost kind of worked on myself the same time that I was working with my clients, because I was still on my own journey. And then, it's just another shift, but that's how business works, isn't it? You
Yeah.
know, It's but if you hit that wall and you don't find a way around it or over it, then you're not running a business. You know, you
Yeah.
can't. So it's almost like when you hit those obstacles, they are for the good, because you've got to start working in a different way.
Yeah. Well, there's two things you said there that I always think about in business. So first of all, if you're going along and nothing bad is happening and everything is kind of boring and you're just moving along and there's something you should be doing, but you're not pushed towards doing it because there's no reason to. Sometimes I think crises happen to give you a kick up the arse to say you should be doing this, and the only way you're going to do it is if I put you under pressure. And that's, even in life and business, sometimes I feel like that. And just the second thing you said about like you were going through something and you were learning how to deal with it and then you taught clients. Sometimes I think we teach what we need to learn, you
Mm.
know, and it's something that like I think it comes from a much more authentic place whenever we've went through it and we know exactly how the client feels. So we can say, you know what, I was where you are. It's much more stronger than even having a degree or education, I think, to say, I've went through it, here's how I did it, I'm gonna hold your hand and help you as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I was, yeah, funnily enough, somebody said, I was on a like a little call yesterday, and somebody said, "What's your business superpower?" And I just said, empathy. You know, that when you, and that's exactly what you've just said. When you've been on a similar journey to the people that you're working with, and there's that lovely expression. What's that lovely expression? It's about uh, something about when you tell your story, it becomes somebody else's recovery.
Yeah,
Something lines.
love it. Yeah. Definitely. So, who would you say has inspired you over the years to be what you are, do what you are? We hopefully inspire people by our story and what we go through, but who's inspired you?
Who's inspired me over the years?
Doesn't have to be famous either. It can be just like someone on the street or, a friend.
Yeah, I mean, I would suppose that that first couple that I ever worked with in fertility, she would have inspired me. And I'd been working with her for a long while before I even knew what her struggle was. And she just arrived one day and said that she was pregnant and she was booked in for a massage. And I said, oh, okay, well, we're going to need to do a different treatment today because she was only about 6 weeks pregnant. And then she just burst into tears. And and I couldn't get right in my head. Why is she crying? She's just announced that she's pregnant. And then she said that she'd had 13 miscarriages. This was her 14th pregnancy.
Well,
So so she was the one really, because we worked together. She got through to 34 weeks. She had an elective cesarean and gave birth to a very healthy baby boy. And I felt like I held her hand the whole way through that. Even the day she was going in for surgery, she came past me for a treatment on the way to hospital. But that, I suppose, her resilience, the way that she, I mean, obviously she mourned every single loss, but she had a tattoo on her body for every baby that she'd lost, and she never ever gave up. And that was a turning point for me, because I thought, I got there by the skin of my teeth. I need to be able to have some more tools in my toolkit so that I'm not doing it by the skin of my teeth.
yeah,
I've got this thing in my head always that, if you're going to do something, do it properly, or else don't do it at all. So that's when I went back then and did some more specific courses to fertility. So yeah, I suppose she would be an inspiration for me, from the way that she held herself, managed her grief, and didn't give up.
yeah. Amazing.
Mm.
God, that is some journey. 14, like that's just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I just can't even think. Um, but yeah, it's surprising what you can actually overcome. Like if someone said to you, "Here's what I'm going to put in front of you," you'd be like, "No way, can I handle that?" But it's surprising the strength you get from different things.
Mm.
Right. So, you're working with all these women and you're changing lives, you're creating lives, never mind changing lives. What would you think, like, what do you think your purpose is in the world?
My purpose. Um, yeah, I guess my approach with the couples that I work with, when couples go to, let's say they get directed to an IVF clinic or go down the medical route or whatever, the sole focus is on getting the woman pregnant. But I have a really different approach to that. And it's that the very moment you make a conscious decision that you are going to start a family, that you're going to, kind of have a child together, you become a parent. So
Yeah.
most couples are, they start parenting the second the baby comes out of the womb. But to me, parenting starts, you're taking care of the health and well-being of that child, the unborn child, way before you ever get pregnant. So I guess that would be my purpose, is to switch that thinking that we're not working to get the woman pregnant, we're working to create two super healthy human beings who've made a conscious decision to create another super healthy human being. So it's a totally different way of thinking about it. The end result is the same. When she gets pregnant, the end result is the same. And then, of course, the healthier the parents are, the healthier that baby is. So that's
Yeah.
really my purpose.
And I think like the reason I asked that question is because I think that's the type of thing that keeps you going when you couldn't be bothered to post on
Yeah,
social media, or you couldn't be bothered to pick up the phone and try and get another sale or whatever it is. It's like it's not about the posting, it's not about the sale, it's about actually creating humans that can create beautiful humans, do you
yeah,
know? So
yeah,
when you think about that, I mean that's something that if anyone's watching and they're wondering, how you keep going or whatever, I suppose that's what you might look at to say, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why I'm here. So I'm going to do all the little annoying things to get where I have to be
yeah,
to make
yeah,
it happen.
yeah.
I think it's super important. So, that's your why and stuff. And a lot of people, I mean, like, I thought when I was in 5 years in business, I was like, well, I should be doing more. This should be better. I should be more successful. And I remember speaking to a guy that night who was like 20 years in business and said to me, 5 years, like you're a baby. And then I was like, right, okay. So, and I suppose the success, like, is so different for so many people. Like, what would you see success as for you?
Uh, yeah, that's totally switched again this year. Like, I suppose prior to, kind of COVID and everything, success would have been counted in numbers of babies. Um, and it still is to a certain extent, but in a different way, because I've had to find a different way to reach them. So last year I spent the summer recording courses so that the people that I'm not able to reach can still, kind of almost kind of step into my brain, pick out that knowledge and use whatever they need to use. And then, kind of just developing something different again, a membership, which is totally new to me, and I'm nearly frightened to launch it. It's all ready to go, all the nuts and bolts are all created. So uh I suppose it's about finding different ways to reach your clients, and success. Yeah, I suppose success is when you come across a block, just like, I suppose, like I said earlier, finding a different way to go about
Hmm.
it.
So success is like overcoming obstacles as such, or, always trying to kind of move forward, do things differently, even when things are, you think, oh God, I don't know if I can keep going
Yeah,
with this business. I don't know if it's going to work because of circumstances. It's always moving forward. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, and keeping it fluid.
Yeah.
If
So you
you
can,
if you're too rigid about things, then that you are going to hit brick walls. But when you're prepared to, like what you do, think outside the box, when you're prepared to do that, then that is what success looks like, I guess.
yeah. And I think as an entrepreneur, you kind of need to love that. Like, I love that I am not doing the same thing all the time. Like, I love that I can change it and make it different. And every year, I'm kind of coming up with a new online course or some other way I can help people, or some other way I can make the business more, even like more freedom for me in the business,
Yeah,
So I think you need, if you want to have your own business, you need to be fluid, like you say, and you need to enjoy that. you can't be the kind of person that wants to sit behind a desk and say, I'm just going to sit here and do the same thing over and over again. You
Yeah.
kind of need, yeah. And there's people in the world who love the desk thing as well, which is fine. And we all need those people, but definitely I think you need to love kind of change, being
Yes.
adaptive to change.
Yeah, being adaptable. That's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, so, if you're happy in what you're doing, I think that's a big part of it. What would you say is like the happiest time of your life? Or one of the happiest times? I know that can be a hard question.
Yeah, happiest. I've had loads, Emma, and it's really weird because it's almost like I've had phases, different phases of my life. And in each phase, I can think of something that was the happiest time of my life. So I couldn't give you a one happiest time of my life. There were times when I was working in London as a legal exec that I loved my life, and they were days that were, there were some days that, if we didn't finish a project, we stayed the night in the apartment at work. And so we were working crazy hours. I loved it. I loved the energy around it. I loved the excitement around it. So that was one phase of my life. And then, kind of, I suppose each decade has brought something different that has really brought me joy.
Yeah. You think it's just probably finding the happiness in each bit of it? Like there's always going to be, annoying parts of it or whatever, or even just looking back. Sometimes I think it's if you're looking back with fond memories, that's all that really matters,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. And I think it's like not looking outside of yourself for happiness.
Yeah.
It's things are never going to make you happy. You're only ever going to be
Mhm.
happy when you're happy in your own energy and your own, kind of in your own comfort zone, I suppose.
Yeah. So like success and happiness, I suppose, could go hand in hand in that way. Like you're never going to be successful unless you feel it already. Nearly, if you don't celebrate, I feel successful today because I got on alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really about being happy with what you have when you have it and feeling successful with what you have when you have it as well, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so. And I mean, I suppose each time a baby's born, I celebrate that. I kind of
Hmm.
there's a post goes up on social media and I post a little bit about their journey and how they overcame whatever their blocks were and this is what they got. This was
Yeah.
the prize that they get for
Yeah.
overcoming those blocks. And that's the same in business, isn't it, really? The
Hmm.
prize you get is the success in business because you've overcome whatever obstacles were in your way.
Yeah, definitely. So, if we're being successful and we're trying to be happy, but as well as that, fear and like self-doubt does creep in. So what do you do to try and overcome any fear or any self-doubt that's happening? So even like with your, new courses that you've been launching, like I'm sure little things in your head have said, what are you doing? And like, are you sure about this? Blah, blah, blah. Like we all I know that because I get it as well, but what's your tools you would say to people to kind of overcome those things?
Yeah, funny enough, last year I had a complete crisis over what I was doing. Things were very, I don't want to say dark, that's too melodramatic, but I just thought, what the hell am I doing? Helping couples bring a baby into this mess, because
Mm.
everything just felt like a big fat mess. And I thought, I want couples to bring a baby into this life if this is what they're coming into? Because, I suppose for a while we couldn't see any way out of what was going on. And then I actually voiced this to somebody and who's not in business or anything, is just a very sensible person who kind of said, well, like, they're going to find help anyway. If these couples are struggling and you've got what they need to get them through that struggle and clear their blocks, then like who are you to hang on to that knowledge? Like how dare you hang on to that knowledge? So
Yeah.
yeah, that pushed me through. So it's voicing it to the right person and then listening when that person gives you feedback on what you're saying, because sometimes you're so stuck in your own head you can't see it. You need somebody
Yeah.
to point that out for you.
Yeah. And I think like get what you're saying about dark. I always feel it's kind of cloudy. like maybe not just dark. It's just like I can't see
Yeah.
where to go with this, if that makes sense. And definitely sometimes it's not like the business person, sometimes it's not the expert, sometimes it's just someone you say it to and then they say something you're like, why didn't I think of that? Like
Yeah.
someone not outside the box, someone who's not in your situation who you kind of just go cop on, and be that like a coach or just someone I think talking about it is a good
Yeah.
way to do it as well. But as you say, listening is super important as well because we can talk and still be in circles.
Yeah.
And then I think action as well. Once someone says something that clicks, just go and do something. Try and even if it's just, if you're trying to do an online course, just write the first page of it. Just record one video. Just do one thing
Yeah.
to try and
Yeah.
get yourself out of it. So as things are changing, moving forward, all that good stuff, where do you see the business in, let's say, 3 to 5 years or so?
3 to 5 years. I'd actually like to see, with by the route of a membership page and online courses and online coaching, I'd like to be able to see that I don't have to be static, that I can actually reach more people from wherever I'm living. I don't have to be in the one place, even though I absolutely love where I'm living. But, I just think it's going to give me freedom. The way that the business has progressed, the way that I'm now reaching my couples, there's an awful lot of freedom in there for me.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, again, we talked about things pushing you towards it. And I would have always been pushing people towards build the online business, do this. And they were resisting. And now everyone's like, I need an online business, but they're actually seeing the benefit of it.
Mm.
Like even yesterday, I was doing a talk online and I was like, if I didn't do this online, I'd be traveling, trying to find parking, out in the cold, trying to find the room. I literally sat in front of I got dressed up and did whatever, but I sat in front of the computer and did it. And I was just like, I love this. It's great.
Yeah.
And even just as you say, I love Donegal, love being here. You love where you are. But, if you want to be in Bali or you want to go to Spain or you want, when we can, that you can do anything from anywhere. And I think
Yeah.
there's a real shift going on, even with people being okay with that, like your clients saying, well, look, we can't meet you, so it's okay, let's do this online. So everyone's allowing everyone to kind of get more freedom, I think.
Yeah.
I think people kind of want to work less as well. They realize how hard they were kind of grinding before. And it's not that they don't want to work hard, it's just that they don't want to work as much, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Smarter. Yeah.
Yeah, work smarter, definitely.
Mm.
So like, we talk about listening to people and getting advice and stuff like that. What would you say is like a really good piece of advice that you got that you live by?
Oh, probably too many bits of advice to mention, to be honest. Yeah, I suppose when when we were working with Moira in the Gallagher, she taught me to be focused. She taught me to be. I would have been very wishy-washy about my business. Not wishy-washy. I wouldn't have been structured about my business.
Yeah.
So it was that I was running a part-time hobby almost, as opposed to a business. I never thought of myself as a business person, but I suppose there was this complete switch in my mentality just from working with a business coach and I moved from, I'm an legal exec who does a bit of massage or does a bit of acupuncture into, I own a business, I run a business, and I have clients and my job is to kind of support and work with them. So yeah, it was moving from that mindset was probably the best bit of advice is, stand up for your business,
Yeah.
and be a business person and don't be, if you're going to be half-hearted about it, you're only going to get a half-hearted result.
Yeah. And I actually find that as well. And I sometimes go back into it. Someone asked me like what I do the last day, and it was in like a medical situation. So I was just like, oh, I just like run this thing. Like I was just kind of like saying it half-heartedly. And then she goes, and who's your boss or what are they called? And I was like, no, I run it. Like I was trying to explain to her. But it's because I wasn't like, I have my own business. I run my own company. I wasn't saying it out loud because I was nearly like, she doesn't care. Why would I say this? But it is about owning it and being focused in it. And even just the words you say to other people or to yourself are super important.
Yeah.
With your business. So you've grown it over this 8 years, this side of it and over 20 of the other side of it. But
Mm.
what would you say like are some tools you use? Like, how did you grow the business? Word of mouth, marketing, or how did you do it?
Oh, all sorts of things. Well, and I've worked with different coaches along the way to understand different parts of my business. Especially, when I started my business, there really wasn't Facebook, or, well, Instagram didn't exist anyway. Facebook wasn't off the ground, I don't think, 20 years ago. So my business would have been built word of mouth, or leaflets, or leaving in flyers, or business cards and things like that, which is quite a difficult way to build a business.
Yeah.
But social media has made it so much easier, because you can, when you are popping up a post, you can just imagine that you're having a one-on-one conversation with whoever is your ideal client. So what I've done is worked with different people. So I worked with Moira, I worked with you, Emma, for my Instagram. I didn't have a clue about Instagram. It was really scary. And even things like LinkedIn, I find LinkedIn really scary. I find that a bit too serious for me. And I think, oh, maybe that's not my space. I don't know whether it is or whether it isn't. But I think probably the best advice is if you know that your clients are behind that door, and you don't know how to open that door, then you find the best person in the field to open that door for you.
Yeah, definitely coaching, helping, just asking others. And I was literally just saying that at the start of this, like, because when I started my business, I was 26. I knew nothing about starting a business. And I went to a networking meeting that I knew there was like 50 other business owners who'd all done it. And I just wanted to be surrounded by them to kind of figure out, like, what have you done wrong? What have you done right? Like, tell me. So someone who's already done it, either like, contact them, get them to coach you, do whatever. I definitely think that's a massive part of growth and growing the business. And like, with the online stuff, I'm all about it, obviously, but I think, word of mouth as well, you're doing a good job. People obviously have told other people, like, oh, we were struggling to have a baby and we had one. And that's massive. If someone says, like, this lady helped us, someone's going to want to come to you, do you know?
Yeah.
So I suppose it's all of that. That's great. So would you believe it, we're like over half an hour here. So just before we finish up, I'm going to ask you, usually I ask one question. I might ask you a couple of these ones. I'll just do a quick fire on the last couple of questions. So if you had any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, teleportation. If I could
Really?
blink or click my fingers and transport myself from here to wherever I needed to be, that would be my
Well,
super.
here in 5K, just for now. But
Yeah, teleporting, it doesn't count, does it?
okay. Okay. You can ask the guards when you get there, sure. It's fine. I teleported. It's okay. Um, so obviously, I suppose a bit of you is still in the UK, a bit of your family and stuff. So, but is that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, my daughter's there. My daughter's been living there for 3 years. She's a teacher. So, yeah, I suppose all the time that I could be at Shannon Airport in 40 minutes and be in Stansted an hour later, I never felt the distance between us. And my sister's there, my niece and my nephew, and they've got growing families as well. I never felt that distance. But now that just feels almost insurmountable, when you can't travel more than 5 kilometers from your own home, and they're certainly a lot further away than 5 kilometers.
yeah?
Yeah, that's right. If I could just click my fingers and just hop over a visit and then come back again, that would be brilliant.
Yeah. Do you know what? I actually used to travel loads, same as yourself, but I actually miss just being in the car and having like that time of like all you're expected to do is drive and maybe listen to an audiobook or something, or just seeing like more than this surrounding. I really, really miss that. And I never thought I would because the amount of traveling I've done.
Mm.
But or even like on a plane, I'd love to just go. I love being on a plane and there's like no phone, no anything. So it's literally just me, a notepad and whatever, and just having that kind of mental space. I feel like that's a big thing that we're missing out on with this 5K situation. Not
Yeah,
even the destination, but just that mental space of travel and seeing other things and all
yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
Anyway, this was supposed to be quick fire, so I'm gonna go again. What, if you were a crayon in a colouring box, what colour would you want to be?
You know the answer to this. Purple and
Of
sparkly.
course, it's purple. Yes, purple and sparkly. Why purple? Why did you choose that?
Oh, well, purple is a very healing colour. So it's always been part of everything to do with my business. My branding colours are purple and green. Green is the heart chakra. So it's very much in line with the work that I do and the way that I work as well. So everything is purple. Like my house is half purple.
There's your smoke alarm, just so you...
Oh no.
Can you give me like 1 second? I'm just gonna run and turn it off. There's no fire. It's just
That's
a
good.
really defective smoke alarm. Just keeps going off when there's actually nothing for it to go off for. So I was like, I wonder will it go off during this call? Maybe I did law of attraction. That's why it came off.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, but I actually love that you are so thoughtful about your brand colors, because so many people I talk to are like, oh, I don't really care what color I'm going to do, or they have a color, they have a logo that's purple, and then they start using green, yellow, blue, orange, and everything. Whereas, like, you want your logo, your brand to actually resonate the whole way through. I love that. That's really, really good. Okay, so uh, one last thing I'll ask you is, what is your karaoke song?
Oh, what's my karaoke song? I do I have a karaoke song? If I did, it would be that Nathan Carter track. What is it?
By the way,
Yeah, Wagon Wheel. That's it.
really? Why?
Do you know, the first time I heard that song, I used to work part-time in Athlone, and it was a really long day, and I wasn't driving home usually till about 9 o'clock at night, and I'd have like either Midlands on or Shannon radio, or so it's all lovely country music. So the first time I heard that track, I was only about a mile from home. Sounds stupid now. But you know, I love music that gives you like a real feel-good vibe and lifts your energy. And yeah, so I was driving along and I had to pull in and listen to the rest of the track, and it gave me such a buzz. And then I had to listen to make sure I knew who it was. And then I was phoning my daughter saying, Google this song, get it on YouTube. I want to listen to this again. And then I was going, just listen to this, it's great. And then every time we went to a wedding or we went to a pub where there was music or whatever, it would be our kind of anthem. We'd just get up and dance to this song. I love it.
Very good.
It's just got this real positive vibe about it.
Yeah, definitely. And even like before I get on calls like this, or do videos and stuff, I often listen to music just to try and lift your mood, lift your spirit kind of thing. And I do think it's super important to kind of take that time. And again, that's something I miss about traveling, like turn the radio up, just singing like this happened with my voice. And something I miss about bars, karaoke. I'm sure everyone else who's listening does not miss it, but that's another thing. So thank you so, so much, Denise. Before we go, I just want to ask, is there anything you're promoting at the minute, or anything you want to tell us about, any new programs, anything like that?
Yeah, well, I have two. I have the online course, which is called Reclaim Your Fertility, and the link for that is on my website. And I am just about to launch a new membership program, which is for women, and it's called Feed Your Sparkle, and it's for women who've lost their sparkle either because of kind of under too much stress, don't know how to manage their lifestyle, eating the wrong foods, not sleeping properly, and they've utterly lost their sparkle. So I show them how to make the right choices, put some small changes in place, change their habits so that they can get the sparkle back.
Lovely, and in line with your purple and sparkly as well.
Absolutely.
I love that. It's great. Denise, thank you so, so much. It's so good to talk to you again. I hope soon we can meet at like a networking event and actually see each other's faces and maybe shake hands, God forbid, maybe hug, who knows. But come here, best of luck with everything. I'll share the link to your page, and if anybody wants to message Denise, I know she can make babies, and I know she can make you sparkle, so give her a wee message. All
Thanks,
right.
Emma. It's been lovely.
Thanks, Denise. Talk
Bye.
to you soon. Bye. Bye.